Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Welcome into First Pitch, Wager Talk's premier MLB betting show for Tuesday, May 17th. I am Drew Martin, joined by Steve Merrill and Dave Koken of WagerTalk.com. We got a big MLB betting card today, some double headers. We got 3 games we're breaking down on tonight's slate. We got best bets at the end, 2 of the best in the business, breaking it down alongside. Guys, let's get to our first game here, heading to Fenway Park. We got the Houston Astros and the Boston Red Sox. Seeing Eucridity on the hill for the Stros versus Nathan Eovaldi here, Dave, going for the Red Sox, minus 118 favorite. That's the Sox at home, 8.5 the total. What do you think in 7:10 Eastern in Boston, Dave?
I think we're going to see some runs tonight. The wind is, in New England, having grown up in New England, weather can change every 5 minutes. But the forecast for tonight indicates pretty strong wind blowing out. And at Fenway, that's important because this is a park that can yield home runs. Urquidy on the mound for Houston. Interestingly enough, we have 3 of the 4 highest barrel percentage surrendered pitchers going tonight in baseball, and Urquidy is one of them. He's got a very high barrel percentage, 4th highest in all of baseball, and also looking at my notes, he's got one of the highest launch angles in baseball. So that plays into the Red Sox getting the ball in the air. And if they can do that, they're probably going to score some runs in this game. Eovaldi, very good pitcher, no question about that. But he also has a pretty high barrel rate. Anything more than 10% means that a guy can be susceptible to giving up the long ball. The Astros did not hit with men on base last night. I think they were 1 for 9. That hurt them. But they rated the Whitlock, was really good, and they just couldn't get the job done in key spots later in the game and ended up losing. I think this is an over. Eovaldi's a good pitcher, but I think the Astros can get to him. Urquidy is not a good pitcher. He's just not. Okay, to me, he's a bullpen guy. I think you get runs scored here. I like the over in this game, and it's going to be my best bet here on the show. It is a game I am playing tonight.
Okay, looking for runs tonight in Boston. Steve, coming to you next. Houston winning, 12 of 14, I think. One of the hottest teams in baseball. In Boston, their lineup really waking up here. Actually, JD Martinez, the longest on-base streak in all of the MLB at 33 games here. So I could see some offense tonight, absolutely. What are you thinking tonight in Fenway?
Yeah, Drew, one of the games the Astros did not win was Saturday night, and I was in attendance at Nationals Park watching that game live, and it was a great game. 13-6 Nationals win, probably the best offensive performance they will have all season at home because they entered actually with the worst home record in all of baseball. So I picked a good game to see Saturday night up in D.C., and of course what the Nationals did, they had terrible games on Friday and Sunday, so timed it perfect. Astros got some runs in that game, though. They scored 6 runs. Actually, only got out hit 14-12. It was a very misleading win by the Nationals. They got a lot of big 2-out, 3-run hits, etc. Houston last night, actually, a strange situation last night. We had the 98-minute rain delay, and they were up 3-2 going into the 7th. They gave up the solo home run, then they gave up 3 in the 8th. Yet, despite losing the game, the Astros pitched half as many guys. The Red Sox used 6 pitchers last night. Houston only used 3. So the Astro bullpen should be a little fresher. That Red Sox bullpen is not fresh with 5 relievers going last night. And I think the runs will be scored for that reason. These are 2 teams, as Dave said, very capable of putting the ball out of the park, especially in Fenway. The Red Sox have put up 6 runs or more now in 3 of their last 4 games. They've put up 6 or more in 4 of their last 6. And the Astros, as you said, they've been red hot, and it's been mainly because of the offense. I think the runs continue to score tonight in Fenway, and we get a reasonable total, 8.5. 9 is a very key number, so I like over 8.5 or less.
Great analysis there from Steve Merrill. You just heard it. And guys, he is the $2 handicapper today, $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. He's 8-1 in MLB. That's 89% this month of May. He's also releasing his first 5% play. That's the highest rated play possible at WagerTalk.com. He's releasing it today. There's been 530 MLB games played this season. This is his first 5% release. And to put it in perspective, last year, over 2,400 MLB games, he only released one 5% play. It won easily. Guys, today is the day he's releasing his first 5% play. You want to go check it out right now. He's seeing it well. Again, 89% this month on the bases. Discounted just $2. Regularly $35. You get it today for just $2. Check it out right at the front page there. You can go to his page, Steve Merrill, or you can just go WagerTalk.com. Discounted only $2 today. Go check it out. Great day to check it out. Steve, coming back to you here. Second game, Seattle Mariners, Toronto Blue Jays, 7:05 Eastern start here. Logan Gilbert versus Jose Berrios. We would normally think, hey, great pitching matchup here. Although Berrios actually not been too great. 11 earned runs in his last two starts. They're having to lay $1.45, total of 8. I was looking towards the Mariners. However, both of these two teams coming in pretty cold. What are you thinking tonight north of the border?
Yeah, Drew, it's a good segue because one of the reasons I'm 8-1, 89% of the month of May in MLB is because my best bet last night was on these Toronto Blue Jays. A nice little winner last night for our clients to start the week, a 6-2 winner as a medium price favorite at home against Seattle. This is a Toronto team that's definitely underachieved this season. You know, it's funny. Seattle was the biggest overachiever last year, at least if you looked at expected win loss. They were 20-some games better with their real record than they should have been with their expected win loss, and that's based on runs scored, runs allowed. Toronto coming in this year, a lot of people's pick to maybe make the World Series. Canadians were very excited. 19-7 start. You'd say that's kind of lackluster, but this team probably should be better. This team has lost 6 of their last 8. But I do think last night was a good situation, and maybe it was the buy sign. They put up double-digit hits in that 6-2 win. Seattle, meanwhile, has had 4 hits in 2 of their last 4 games. They've had some big offensive outings in between, but I think they're kind of on the downtrend, and I think the Blue Jays may be a little bit on the uptrend here, so we'll look to ride that momentum. Not an official play for me tonight. I thought last night was a spot to use Toronto, but I'd back them again this evening if you're looking at this game.
Like it, Steve. Coming up next, Dave Koken. And guys, speaking of 5% plays, Dave doesn't release a lot of them either. And he's number one at WagerTalk in terms of hitting 80% this season in his 5% plays. He's got one up on the ice for Wednesday night in the NHL. Going to want to check that out as well. Dave, throw it over to you. What are you thinking here, Seattle and Toronto?
Yeah, just a note on the NHL. This is going back 21 months. We only had 3 NHL 5% plays. They all won. And there's something I really like tomorrow, obviously, and decided to go top shelf. And we'll see if it gets there. Game's available now. And I think the number, at least the price, is going to rise. So I would suggest getting this earlier, not waiting around. Tonight, in this game, I think I'm the opposite of Steve here. I like the Mariners, mainly because I've been going against Jose Berrios and getting pretty good results. He's been lousy. He's having a lot of location problems. His hard hit rate is almost 50%. Almost 50% of the balls put in play against Berrios, 95 miles an hour or better. His barrel rate is the 3rd worst in baseball. Interestingly enough, the 2nd worst in baseball and the 4th worst in baseball are also going tonight. So could be some runs scored. Logan Gilbert, I've said this before on Gilbert. I think he's being a little bit overhyped in that he's got 2 really good pitchers. He has not developed a 3rd pitch yet. And I think for him to take that next step to being a true superstar pitcher, a number 1 starter, he's going to have to develop a 3rd pitch, probably a changeup, which isn't there right now. Fastball and slider are outstanding, though. Last 2 starts haven't been great. He is facing a tough lineup here, so I can see runs being scored here, and the over makes some sense. But I decided to go for the price. I think taking plus money against Berrios is just the way to go right now, and I was able to do so here, and I like the Mariners as dogs tonight.
Yeah, it looks like plus 135 here, Dave. And it, kind of touched on it in the beginning, guys. Both of these two teams cold. We get the Mariners 5-14 their last 19, and the Blue Jays 4-9 their last 13. Also, interesting note here, not making the trip, Robbie Ray and Drew Steckner, the relief pitcher, to Canada, likely due to not getting the vaccine. So they're going a little bit short-handed here, but we got 1 game left, and then we're getting 2 best bets tonight. Dave, we're heading to Milwaukee. We get the Atlanta Braves versus the Milwaukee Brewers. We're seeing the Brewers short favorites here, about minus 115 now. Braves taking a little money, total of 8. We're seeing Davidson getting called up from AAA Gwinnett, making his first start this year, going up against Adrian Hauser, going for the Brew Crew. What are you liking in Milwaukee tonight?
Well, Tucker Davidson's been on the Gwinnett to Atlanta shuttle the last 3 years. So he's had spot performances in the major leagues. He's a lefty who, I don't know, I think he's kind of a quad A guy at this point. Whether he's going to improve at some point, who knows? His stuff seems pretty ordinary in having seen him. So I don't like him. Adrian Hauser is just completely. The only thing, and I made the mistake of betting on Hauser against the Reds last time out, and I think Atlanta scored Milwaukee scored 11 runs. They lost the game. Hauser can be very good at times. He can also be awful, and he's a pitcher I just don't seem to be able to get right. So I'm not going to try here. Gave you opinions that I like in the first 2 games. I'm sitting out of this one. I can't figure Hauser out. I don't want the game.
Steve, this is my best bet, so I'm just going to throw it over to you, man, and I'll start off best bets when you're done.
Sounds good. Looking forward to hearing you liking this one because, like David, nothing jumped out at me big time. I'll be staying off this game tonight. But one thing I will point out about Milwaukee, I'm actually going to segue my best bet to something that goes with this a little bit. But Milwaukee all of a sudden made the Cincinnati Reds look like a decent baseball team about a week ago. The Reds had lost, 19 out of 20 games, and they went on that 6-2 run. And a lot of it had to do with taking 2 out of 3 at Milwaukee, in which they put up 28 runs in 3 games. So I was kind of scratching my head on that. Milwaukee then bounces back against Miami. They win 2 out of 3, and then they keep it going last night against Atlanta, a 1-0 win. Just 5 hits in that game, though, from Milwaukee. In fact, they've had single-digit hits now in 8 of their last 9 games, and including some of those losses against Cincy. Meanwhile, the Braves, we've talked about this a few times on the show. Atlanta, defending World Series champs, are not hitting the ball. Well, I'd say they're not hitting it consistently because they haven't been inconsistent. They're consistently not hitting the ball. They've had single-digit hits in every game but one going back over the past month to mid to late April. This is a team that when they do get runs, it's usually on a few big hits. This team has 2 hits and 5 hits in their last 2 games, 3 runs and 0 runs scored. So definitely have no problem with the under here just based on current momentum. But I do think both of these teams are very capable still, and they will break out sooner than later. So that kept me off this game tonight. But I'll just point out that offenses have been a bit ice cold overall for these 2 teams.
Both of these pitchers, I am not looking to be betting on, guys. We get Davidson, like Dave just touched on, maybe a quad A guy at best, making the trip back and forth from Gwinnett, making his first start this season, going up against the Brewers lineup. I don't think it's a good matchup for him. And Hauser, he's been banged around the last 2 starts, giving up 12 runs. I think both of these 2 offenses light it up tonight. I'm staying away from the Milwaukee Brewers bullpen. Guys, they've been lights out. Williams and Hader. Last night, they both had short kind of outings, so I think that they will be available. Want to stay away from that. So I'm going first 5. I think both of these 2 offenses wake up tonight against the subpar pitching, and I am going on the over the first 5, 4.5. You get that at -110, widely available right now. So it's first 5 over 4.5. Braves and Brewers tonight. For my best bet, we got Dave Koken up next. Guys, check out his 5% play in the NHL tomorrow night. Dave, any final thoughts for the show, and what's your best bet?
I'm going to go back to that Astros Red Sox game I talked about, and all the elements are there. Boston starting to hit the ball finally, which they should have been doing all season with that lineup. The Astros offense did not do well last night. They were terrible with men in scoring position. They could have had some big innings last night. Don't expect that to continue. Urquidy, a guy I don't particularly care for. I think the Red Sox can knock him around, and his tendency to give up hard contact and barrels is a big negative. Eovaldi, obviously the more capable pitcher, but he also has a high barrel rate. And again, the wind blowing out, dead out tonight at Fenway. As from right now in the forecast, I'm saying like 19 mile an hour wind out. This is a high-scoring game on paper. I like the over between the Astros and Red Sox.
Another game with some runs tonight, heading to Fenway in that one. We got Steve Merrill here, $2 Tuesday handicapper. Check him out, WagerTalk.com. Best bet, first 5% of the year. Steve, anything more there with your $2 Tuesday play, and what's your best bet for the show, buddy?
Yeah, 530 MLB games have been played so far in 2022, and this is the first time all year I've used a 5% best bet in MLB. I'm already 8-1, 89% in the month of May in baseball, so I'm seeing it well, and this is the strongest play I've seen all season. Last year, over 2,400 games, I only had one 5% best bet. It was an over-under that put up 16 runs, an easy over winner. I've got another MLB moneymaker total 5%er, and it goes tonight on Tuesday. Normally $35. You're getting a 94% discount with $2 Tuesday. Right now, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Let's look at a free play for Tuesday night, a game that was just a bit outside from making the cut. And isn't it ironic that the Cleveland Indians, who coined the phrase just a bit outside from Major League, are the team I'm looking at? They're now the Cleveland Guardians. The name has changed, but I like the situation here for this in-state battle in Ohio, because one thing that hasn't changed is that Cleveland continues to dominate Cincinnati. Already 2-0 against them this season, outscoring them by 17-8 in those two games at Cincinnati. They won the last two last season as well. They're on a 4-game win streak against their in-state rival, beating the Reds 35-13 in those 4 games. That's not the reason we're playing the Guardians. Or the reason we're playing is because we're playing against the Cincinnati Reds, who are by far the worst team in baseball this year. They lost 20 out of 21 games a few weeks ago, and then they went on a miraculous mini win streak of 6-2. Looks like they're cooling off again here. They've off back-to-back losses this past weekend at Pittsburgh, in which they put up 1 total run. And this is how bad the Reds are. They did something that's only happened 6 times in MLB history over the last 100 years. They lost a no-hitter. They hit the Pirates 4-0 and still lost the game 1-0 because they were the road team. Pittsburgh didn't even bat in the bottom of the 9th, and they still had a no-hitter going. A really bad team overall. I don't think that's the buy sign for them. They had yesterday off. They're traveling again. Meanwhile, I do think it's the buy sign for Cleveland after some tough series against San Diego, Toronto, at the White Sox, at the Twins. They'll be looking to chops to beat up on the worst team in baseball. Reasonable price here. Cleveland Guardians minus $1.55. Play at action. It's a pure situational play here tonight. Don't forget, that goes at 6 Eastern, a little bit of an early start. I've got a much stronger play, though. My first 5% of the season in MLB, 89% this month, and it's the first time all year I've had a 5% best bet. Get it right now for $2 Tuesday. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Check it out, guys, as we got the recap for best bets. I'm on the Braves, Brewers, first 5 over 4.5. Dave Koken, Astros, Red Sox over 8.5 for the full game. And Steve Merrill, Guardians, minus 155. You just heard it there. Check out his $2 Tuesday, 5% best bet, WagerTalk.com. Dave up with a 5% tomorrow night in the NHL as well. Huge shout out to the chat box, guys. Nathan Cantor, Jeffrey Moore. We got C. James in the house, Kylie Reynolds, all you guys, Damian, Jeff. Thanks for joining us live. Feel free to reply below. Any questions in the reply section here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel, we'll answer them this week on the show. Come back and join us tomorrow, same time, same place. Best of luck until then. Thanks for tuning in.
Stop. Don't buy that picks package or All Access. Wait, what? Yep. Don't click add to cart until you check out our new deals page at both Wager Talk and Sports Memo, where you can find all the latest offers, promotions, and coupons available all in one place. These deals are updated daily and can be found by clicking deals in the nav at Wager Talk or Sports Memo, going to wt.buzz/deals, or scanning the QR code on your screen.